morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, hey, hey. You know what it is. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022.
2D2.
Hey, first and foremost, are y'all hearing the music this time? Because we was looking real foolish bobbing our heads before to nothing.
Nothing. Jamming in our heads.
Just jamming on your heads, jamming in our heads, jamming on the one. Pops gives us a good Wednesday morning. Welcome back. We missed you guys. Appreciate you, Pops. Missed you too.
Good to be back.
I was just thinking about that. I was like, I ain't talking to my Pops in a couple of days.
Man. Actually, gotta check on mine.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Once again, let us know if you can hear the music this time. Okay, great. Thanks, Pops.
Okay, good.
We look back at the old footage like probably nothing. Looking like a couple fools.
Like some bobbleheads.
Good morning. Live from the void. Good morning. Kateri Jimenpeto says good morning with a little kind of sunshiny rain going on outside.
Yeah.
A little thunderstormy this morning.
Man.
What's going on, Mayor Sanchez? Hands on the wheel, ears on the message. I like that.
Hey.
Drive safe, brother. Heard a slick out. How y'all doing? We're happy to be back live from the void. Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022. Blackity Black says good morning. Also, some sunshine and some rain.
It's not looking good out there.
Looking a little gloomy. Out. Facebook user gives us a good morning. Let me see who that is. What's happening, y'all?
Top of the morning to you.
Just waking up. It feels like a Monday right now for me.
Yeah, man. I'm still kind of recovering. I think I might need another one. I think I might need another day to get fully back acclimated.
Another day, huh?
Another one.
We got a good morning from Von Chapman. Good morning. Wanda Lewis says good morning. Judy Prinsler says good morning. Missed everyone.
Hey.
We missed you. We miss you guys too, for sure. Yeah. We know for next time how to work this travel situation out so we can make sure that we can get in.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we called that Monday show because
man, that wouldn't have been good, man. We would have been speaking in gibberish. It just wouldn't have worked out, man. We had to get out the hotel, had to pack up. Just wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Yeah. Also,
yeah, go ahead.
What didn't work out? We didn't contact Erica for y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. Gotta break it to you. Yeah, we didn't. That didn't happen.
So just to let people know, because I mean, like everybody was like, say what's up to Erica for me,
man. Had people threatening to get pregnant.
I mean, for real, like it was really well. That's not even over with. Like if she does come out here and play, then it'll be all over again. But
yeah,
long story short, this time around she could not perform. She had COVID, so she did not come to the concert.
Yeah. So I don't know if she like officially was diagnosed, but it said I heard she was exposed. That was the word on the street. Like she was exposed and she had to go through like that 48 hour window where you're testing and you're trying to see what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Either way, she wasn't there.
She wasn't there, but we were, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit this morning. Yep. I'm trying to see who's giving us some comments here. On Friends for Sky, Imani Murray gives us a good morning.
Hey, what's happening?
Your juices are life, for real.
Literally.
Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning over on Friends of as well. So that's what's up, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep. So welcome. We're back. It's Wednesday, August the 3rd, 2022. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, live from the void today. What's happening?
Hey.
Pop says I was going to tell you on Friday to forget Monday, but well,
Yeah.
the
I
wisdom
mean,
through.
we're devoted, guys. We don't like missing days. We actually enjoy waking up, talking to y'all.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of times where I woke up just like snuffleupagus, you know what I'm saying? Like morning bird.
Yeah, I wake up like that every day, every time. So
Man. But once we get the show going and get the conversation rolling, I'm usually feeling energized and inspired after the show, man. So yeah, we appreciate y'all, but Monday just wasn't gonna happen.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. But I tell you what did happen was a renewed vigor for the show, for what we're doing, some
Man,
clarity. We went away and got some clarity,
inspiration.
inspiration, so yeah, so we were very clear on what this is and what we're doing, and just didn't a renewed vigor on top of already strong vigor in the first place is just pretty incredible. It's like purpose, like life purpose type of territory now.
Man.
So yeah, so we got and it's good to be clear on like what it is we're going to be doing and the changes that we're going to make. One of the big changes that we just made was we're out of Weberized Studios now
Yep.
for the weekly shows. So we're going to be doing some roundtables, some different kinds of interviews and stuff over at Weberized. So shout out to them. They're
Squad.
still part of the squad, still part of the fam. But we'll be doing a lot of this kind of live from the void, live from different areas, different places, and also from different organizations. We realize that there's people listening to us not just in Omaha but out of Omaha, and they, if we talk about places like the Culture House all the time, but we haven't gone over there and showed it yet and stuff like that. So we're gonna do some of that type of stuff too. But
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about like what's happening, because we definitely got some renewed vigor over here and excitement on the changes and the new things we're gonna do, and then just excited to be back here talking to y'all about things. So that's what's up.
for sure. Also, besides, what we had got into over the weekend, I'm kind of interested in seeing what you did over the weekend. There was a lot of things happening while we were away. Looked like Maha was a success. Let us know if you went through that. Big shout out. Speaking of Culture House, big shout out to Marcy H, Zoe Boy, aka Dilla Kids. Looked like they did their thing on the stage, man. So yeah, man, looked like a very good time. I'm not sure who the media production team behind that was, but they put out some good content. It was looking
Yeah,
pretty nice.
it's looking
So
like
yeah,
Blue Note.
Man, low key. So yeah, big shout out to everyone behind Maha putting that together, and those of you who went out to participate. If I'm not mistaken, Benson Days was also over the weekend.
Hmm.
So shout out to the fam out there in Benson.
Yep.
Benson First Friday Squad, everyone, all the
It's
organizations,
theater.
all the Benson Theater, all the organizations and businesses out there doing their thing, man, and all the artists that frequent the area. A big shout out to y'all. So yeah, man, let us know, how was your weekend, what you got into over the weekend, what were the haps that we might have missed, things like that.
For sure, for sure. Got a good morning from Chrissy Noor in the house. What's happening? What's happening?
Hey,
Brother Muhammad gives us the Assalamu alaikum family. Alaikum
alaikum,
salam.
alaikum
Uh,
salam, brother.
check it out. Brother said he has some bean pies ready. I'm gonna go ahead and say it out loud. You're probably gonna get a whole bunch of orders now, but yeah, you can't if you hit me with that news, it's going out. So yeah, man, get the pies. The pies get down.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
Josh Tays is a good morning and welcome back, fellas. What's happening, Josh? Appreciate you, my man. We got some things to talk about.
yes we do,
For sure. Yeah, a little project we want to try to put together here with you. So we'll talk about it soon. But yeah,
yeah,
man, we got some good things coming for sure. We got some special guests in the house coming today as well. We
yeah.
have Jannette Taylor, who's president and CEO of Women's Center for Advancement.
Okay, I was waiting to see if you would find it. I was waiting to see, and not to be confused with Miss Jannette Taylor from the bookstore.
Right.
Not the same person, but
And
equally dope.
also Miss Precious McKesson, of course, will be politicking with P.
Hey.
She hit me up with another one of those, baby. We got a lot to talk about coming up, so can't wait for that. It's always a pleasure when Precious McKesson is in the house.
Yeah,
So
man.
yep. And of course, all of you, if you are on Facebook, do us a favor and share the show. We're gonna continue to get this party started in this chat on the road and this conversation going on. So let us know how your weekend was. Let us know what's going on with you, and share the show if you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Appreciate that very much when you do that. And we'll try to keep you up to date on what's going on. We know that everybody gets up and gets ready to go to work and stuff in the morning, and you guys come in and out. So we're going to keep you more informed about what it is we're talking about. Lots of good subjects happening today, and wanted to get your feelings on a couple of subjects. As a matter of fact, now I'm pulling stuff, thinking, I wonder what the chat chimers is going to think about this.
Oh yeah.
So let's go down the list of some of the things we're going to talk about today and get the show on the road.
Oh yeah. It's always a constant, man. Love seeing the feedback. Just love again getting to the nitty gritty of things that's going on in the community. So as always, big shout out to the chat chimers dropping, links, dropping stories, ideas into the Friends of First Sky page. If you're not a member of that page, please go check it out, because you are missing parts of the conversation that either start or continue on that page. So again, definitely check us out, Friends of First Sky Omaha on Facebook. But as Paul mentioned, a lot of people have already chimed up on this latest press release from the North 24th Street Business Improvement District. Got to say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest, aka the North 24th BID.
I say BID.
That's what you call them, BID. Mama call them BID. But yeah, man, we're definitely gonna jump into this situation. Tragic struck on 24th. Another young man and a couple other people lost their lives and were injured by gunfire. And we're going to talk about this latest response from the BID. And actually, Channel 7 released an article kind of discussing sharing, I'd say, some of the comments from community members and some of the ideas that they have. And again, some of you have already shared your ideas, so we're definitely going to talk about that. Also, Paula, I know you're all for the DEI positions. Yeah, your favorite position. So we're going to talk about the latest hiring from the city of Omaha that, maybe can help with some of these things. Keith Station, who's Omaha's first officer for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Hey, maybe it'll do some good.
We'll talk about it. Also, we definitely have to talk about Mayor Gene Stothert. More information coming out. Again, this is all stemming from if you remember the convention that just took place over the city, and one of the proposals for that Jean put in to have power to maintain her mayoral powers while she's out of town. And now we're finding out just how much time she's actually spent out of town. Kind of interested in seeing what Precious has to say on that one. So we'll definitely dive into that. And then, as Paul mentioned, we'll definitely be meeting up with a couple of guests. It is still Women's Wednesday today. Yes. We're all about the women, all about the children. First Sky Omaha, we love the ladies, loves the children, man. So on that, let's go ahead and jump into the thing, get this show started off right. It is Hump Day.
You know what day it is?
Yeah, man. But
Good morning. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, Star Trek Rich. All of you, thanks for joining us. Oh, Star Trek Rich is not here today. I'm used to saying
see.
Right. We live from the void now, and that's a big change that we made here. So we'll have to talk about what we're doing and why we made that change. But shout out to Star Trek Rich and the Weberized crew. We're still doing things over there with them, just different sorts of things now. So thanks for joining us today. And it is what is the date again? August the 3rd already. So man
already.
It don't feel like it yet, but it's about to be wintertime. As a matter of fact, we've been going through a heat wave, unprecedented heat wave. Some friends of mine were telling me that their elderly parents air conditioner went out, and
That's no good.
reminded me to say to get on the show and say check on the elderly, check on your families on these hot days, man, because you cannot live without the air conditioner in a of areas that are affected with poverty are usually the ones that have people dying off because of heat.
Yeah.
There ain't no reason in the world somebody should die because because of money and not having the resources, not being able to have an air conditioner unit on. So
Message.
yep.
Yeah, man.
It's real ridiculous. But thanks for joining us. Leah Keister gives us a good morning, good morning, good morning. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Let's see who we got over here on Friends of First Sky Omaha gave us a uh, good morning. Glad to see y'all. Not seeing who that is quite yet. I'll get back to you. Pop says, I love me some Women's Wednesdays. I know, me too, Pops.
Yeah, man.
Michelle Trosclair has the kind of, she's, she's over there. She's executive director at the Benson Theater now. So it's been real hard to transition into that job and keep doing what she's doing. But she's determined to come back because she has a lot of things to say all the time. We will be continuing with her soapbox moments, maybe in a different format. We actually talked about recording her soapbox moments elsewhere and then playing them during the show. So we're still working on trying to get Michelle back on a regular basis, but we do have Precious McKesson coming in today, and also Jannette Taylor, President and CEO of the Women's Center for Advancement. We always love having her on. She's been a guest before, so very, very much can't wait to talk to those ladies. Also, Miss E is saying, "Oh, Miss E gave us a good morning. Glad to see y'all. Good morning to you too. Thank you for joining us. You're the only one on the actual Facebook page now that they don't show your name. So I don't know what's
Mm.
going on there.
She does
Everybody,
pretty good at dropping that e-signature, though. I appreciate that.
yeah. She know what the E. She know what we know what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, welcome. Let us know how your weekend was. Up up in the chat a little bit more. It looks like I think Christy Norris said that Kansas showed up and showed out yesterday. I hope Nebraska does the same in November. So yeah, Christy Norris. So there was a election that happened in Kansas, and they came out, man. They were trying to really fight for some things over there.
Okay. In
Yeah,
Kansas, huh?
Kansas. Yeah. I started to read about it, but I kind of switched to some other things. Thinking about more about Omaha news right now, but it is something worth mentioning. I'm glad that you checked that out and you were able to get some inspiration from that. I hope that Omaha does show up in November as well. Got some really, really, really big um, elections that are going to be happening here, so we got to get down.
Yeah, definitely new blood. We need it.
Need some new blood.
We need it. We need it. We need it. But yeah, man. So what you thinking, Paul? You want to jump into the news, jump into the hot topics, recap the weekend? Where we kicking this thing off, man?
Yeah, that's a good question. You guys, let's put it to the chat. Let us know where you want to start. I think there were some comments that were going on right before the show on
Still
something that we
going
were going
on.
to talk about. Still going on. As a matter of fact, let's jump into that because it seems like everybody wants to kind of talk about that subject there. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah,
Please.
man. Well, we'll kick it off within our own backyard. Talk about North 24th, the Deuce, as we like to call it. This is a topic that we don't really discuss too much here on the show, because I mean it's something that's already been discussed at nauseum as far as the news outlets, if you will. We're of course talking about shootings in the area, and yeah, if we don't really know the story, don't have real solutions, then we don't really like to touch on this. But some solutions and some credit has been taken in this, which we're definitely going to talk about. For those of you who have missed it, just recently there was a shooting on 24th Street where a young man lost his life and two others were injured, unfortunately, and definitely prayers and condolences goes out to all of the families impacted. But we're not here to necessarily talk about that. We're here to talk about the conversation surrounding this. Apparently, following this incident, the North 24th Street Business Improvement District, aka the BID, released a press release effectively taking credit for this situation. They're saying that this was the first homicide on North 24th Street in this year, as comparison to 8 at the same point last year. Which apparently the North BID or North 24th BID says, we believe that the downward trend in gun violence is due to the collective effort of business leaders, violence prevention organizations, and residents working alongside the Omaha Police Department to end violence and make North 24th Street an area where people want to live, work, and play. The North 24th Street BID has a comprehensive strategic plan to promote an environment for economic growth and development, to enhance North 24th Street as an arts and culture district. The plan includes business facade improvements, litter control, safety, and the North 24th Street streetscape master plan, which apparently addresses infrastructure needs, including transportation, pedestrian safety, aesthetic enhancements, and traffic control. They also went on to say the BID has a safety and security committee that meets on a regular basis with community stakeholders to address safety concerns. Community members are invited to attend the next meeting, which will be tomorrow. So if you are interested in that, we will run back around to that on the haps a little later on. But yeah, a lot of comments on Facebook already. Brother Terrace Hayes is calling this garbage.
Hot garbage.
Hot garbage, saying that he's sure it will be noted and erased. Apparently, saying the BID was said initially to have nothing to do with the community except the streetscape image plan, which I just laid out. But now they are responsible for reductions in crime and improvement to infrastructure. Questions, Brother Terrace Hayes. Get out of here. Firstly, how inconsiderate to even post a boast post and add in the loss that just happened. So, apparently a few people not feeling this. Brother Terrace Haynes is not alone in his feelings. Sister Kimra Snipes also went to Facebook saying that she's out on 24th Street often, not just the south side, but she's also on the North Deuce, and she says she's never seen these folks out, especially not at night. Thoughts?
Pulled this story that, first of all, we got a good morning from Vicky Young. How you doing, Vicky?
Hey,
Good morning.
hey.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, first of all, like we said, we don't really comment too much on the news in that sense, because we're just not that kind of a news organization here. But it is worth, we of course have feel for the families, and we feel for what's going on in our neighborhoods, but we also are very focused on trying to find some solutions here. So there's a couple of organizations, there's a few organizations that's been chiming up here on solutions, and this struck me as, a little while back we reported about a billboard that nobody liked. Seemed like nobody liked, that the BID put up. It was very kind of a paternalistic way, I don't know, it was just very law
Tone deaf is how I call it.
tone
Tone
deaf.
deaf.
Right, there you go. Law enforcement style, um, you know. And this is what this statement struck me as. Like, I was looking for information on what happened with the shootings, and came across this and was just like, I wonder what the chat chimers think about this. This kind of gives me that billboard vibe in a big way.
Mm.
Um, and so, yeah, and surprised to hear, reading into it further, that they're actually trying to take some kind of some credit a little bit for some things. It sounds real strange. But I don't want to talk too much about it. I kind of want to leave it up to the chat chimers. Give me your thoughts. Please give me your thoughts on what you feel about these things. Like I said, as we were posting some things this morning, a lot of people chimed in and had some comments on Friends of First Sky Omaha, which is where we're posting this story right now. Interesting stuff that people are saying, and I was really just wanting to know what you guys thought of this and felt about it. Um, of course, we all want safe environments, safer streets. We can't go without talking about the things that are happening in our neighborhoods, and trying to figure out, because we're all about trying to figure out some solutions for it. So
Right.
we're not leaving it alone, but we're also not wasting breath on just talking it up. Like, we got let's find some solutions. One of them is right along in a line with what our season 4 a theme is, which is follow the money. And
Yeah.
to me, I don't hear much in there about anybody talking about any kind of economic development, or just any reference to, when you have areas of poverty, you have violence. Let's do something about the poverty. So that's kind of the first thing, because we're in this theme, struck me at first. Like, what's everybody doing? There was another article that we'll jump into too, that the Empowerment Network made some statements as well,
Chime
and
in.
one of them stood out about what their mission is. Their mission is to well, we'll jump into that article and read that, but it just kind of struck me as like, okay, now there's an organization called Empowerment Network. There's a lot of these other kinds of organizations, and I know that it's on everybody's mind that we need to kind of circumvent poverty so that we can solve some of these issues. But what is actually happening with the circumventing of poverty?
Right,
Let's
right,
talk about it.
right.
Jump
And
in. Go ahead.
I just wanted to lay out because I don't want to feel like we're attacking these organizations or calling them out for making this statement. Like, kudos to y'all for making a statement. Kudos to y'all for, at least trying to do something. But I think the point of this, and what I'm getting from the comments, is just the fact that the something that they're putting out there is kind of missing the mark.
Mm.
And that's the feeling. I wanted to, before we jump into the chat, because there are a few comments jumping in the chat. There is a comment that brother A. Jamal Bendon posted on the original post that I wanted to dive into. That was pretty eloquent. He says this is a waste of time. Again, nobody's calling them out or blaming them for making the statement. But again, he asks, what are the 3 or 5 most important issues affecting North Omaha or African Americans? If we are not talking about income and wealth increase for the community, then you are wasting valuable time. Who is helping to frame these poorly drafted initiatives for change? It seems like we are pimping the poor.
Mm. Yeah. Well said. Again, we want to put it to the chat. Want to know what you guys think of it in the chat, right? Real quick. I see Von Chapman. What's going on, brother? Says gun
Peace, peace.
violence is as a result of the economy, inflation, and the recession. Bullets cost money, and money ain't free.
Mm.
So again, economic development is a big word everybody likes to throw around. Pulling parts of our community out of poverty is really what this is about, because there's other places that are poverty stricken, as well. It doesn't matter what race, it doesn't matter what economics. It's all about the economic status when it comes to a lot of any area of town with any other race. If they are in poverty, are going to have higher crime. It's just a thing that they've proven already. It's not really about this is North Omaha, and and the stigmatism of being in North Omaha and the violence in North Omaha and so on and so forth. If there's areas in North Omaha that are poverty stricken, then there's going to be crime, and you got to do something about that part. It's been North Omaha has been stripped of a lot of the economic development that could have been built on what was going on in the past 50s, 60s, 70s. There it could have been thriving in a Black Wall Street kind of way by now, but there's been several things that's happened that stripped the area of that, and they just kind of keep that happening. And they keep on going buying new helicopters and all kinds of stuff, because rather than address the issue and help the issue, they want to police the issue in this real paternalistic way, and that's my 2 cents. Even though I said I'm going to talk too much about it, I definitely want the chat to chime in on this. Amy Helpless says, "Hey fam." Beth Davis Wilson says, Good morning to you." Tonight Patterson says, "Martin Luther King Jr. quote: It is incontestable and deplorable that Negroes have committed crimes, but they are derivative crimes. They are born of the greater crimes of the white society. Every time I see finger wagging nonsense, I think of this quote." Mm,
Mm.
Figure wagging nonsense. I can see that on the t-shirt. Finger wagging nonsense. People
I
are
like
talking.
how she put it, man. That's kind of what I was thinking. It did, just a little finger wagging, a little bit.
Whitney Richardson, good morning, says poverty is the root of almost every societal issue. Thank you for saying it way better than I just did. It's just more in line with the prison industrial complex to focus on policing rather than the root issue. There you
Message.
go. Message.
Man, they are building more of those, man. They are building more of those.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard to, it's hard to not think that that's connected in a real way. So again, of course, we are. Well, here's another comment that Wanda Lewis says. Data shows that in the past 3 years, that North Omaha is responsible for less than 1/3 of the crime in the city of Omaha.
Mm.
Less than 1/3. No, nothing out there, but maybe this show will allow people. Nobody thinks that. No, nobody would ever think that.
Nope.
If everybody tries to act like all the crime happens in North Omaha, that's all the everything that happens here.
I mean, how anytime there's a shooting reported on any of the major outlets, it's in North Omaha. Like Paul said, if you only read those outlets, you would think that all the shootings happen in North Omaha. Like there's never a shooting anywhere else.
Hear me though. Hear me on that. Crime happens all over the place, and there's more poor areas in Nebraska than just North Omaha,
Yeah.
and that's really kind of bottom line. Got Senator Terrell McKinney put some respect on his name in the chat.
Hey,
Says tone deaf, man. Using your words, buddy. Tone deaf,
man.
selling out the community to the police. And the biggest question is, since they are by city ordinance in charge of safety and security, how much of their budget over the past year went to safety and security that didn't involve OPD? Bro, you just opened my
Ooh.
whole eyes on that. I did not know that by city ordinance they're in charge of safety and security. Now I'm seeing why they putting these paternalistic billboards and stuff out. I didn't realize
Well,
that was part of their mandate.
well, what do we do here at First Sky Omaha, y'all? What do? We read between the lines and get to the nitty-gritty of it. Channel 7 opened up their article saying North Omaha leaders call for an end to gun violence. I'm always weary of that. Like, who are the leaders?
Number one. But wait a minute. Before I lose this, I want to continue this idea here because my mind is being blown by what Brother McKinney just is saying. Because I've never heard. The only thing that I'm witnessing is them doing stuff like fighting with Miss Juanita Johnson, put some respect on her name, on beautifying up the area and stuff like that. Like, how many things have me and you been talking about that the BID has put forth that wasn't the Loves Jazz beautifying the area and so on and so forth? And you trying to tell me that part of the thing they're supposed to be doing as an organization is by city ordinance is being in charge of safety and security of the area, and so the only thing I see, first of all, where is any of their money going towards that, or are they really just like putting it together to put this $20 million complex up on 24th and Lake above Love's Jazz, or or do they really think that the beautifying efforts in the music and stuff that they're bringing from that organization is I mean, like, they're putting the money into that as the solution to what? Crime in the area? Like the brother just said, like, how much of their budget over the past year went to safety and security that didn't involve OPD? Didn't bring more police down, more traffic control, more all these things.
Because there are other safety and security organizations and businesses in North Omaha. I mean, the BAA, if I'm not mistaken, they offer security services.
I mean, that's what I'm calling if I need security service.
There's a couple other entities that provide security services to like some of these clubs and bars and things in the North Omaha area, not
Bro.
just the police. So that is it's a good point. It's a good point, and just the general connection to the mayor from this, it cannot be ignored. Actually, kind of cut off a portion of Brother Terrence Hayes's comment, but he went on to say it wasn't the BID necessarily that made this improvement as far as the reduction in crime in the 24th area. He says people making better choices have helped things get better. Definitely God's grace has helped things get better. Grassroots community efforts, organically fed, not funded by outside philanthropy or Fed dollars, has helped things get better. But a ghost, fake, non-existent entity that answers to the mayor who cares nothing about North Omaha, no, you or her get no pass or credit. Sorry, not up to this fake news crap today, just tired. I will let you know if my freedom of speech is erased or if I'm removed from this group. It will prove nobody is ready to have a real conversation about the true state of North Omaha. And that's as told by Brother Terrence Hayes.
Come on, cousin. Brother Von Chapman in the chat says some of these city favorite organizations are painting a picture of North that is disingenuous. This will further alienate Black from real solutions. That's a culmination of this to me. Brother Kasim in the house says, peace, fellas. What's happening? What's happening?
Peace.
Much love and respect for the constant shout outs, of course, bro. We see what you guys are doing over there.
Real recognize real, man. Like,
trying to get down, as a matter of fact. So let's
yeah.
Yeah, man. Precious says, "Let me hurry and come on." Yeah, yeah, bro.
Hey,
Baby,
let us know. Let us
about to
know,
hear this.
Precious. Let us know. She
Beth,
said, "Hold on, let me log on. Hold on.
Beth
I
Davis
need a
Wilson.
piece of this."
Right. Beth Davis Wilson says that security shouldn't be the mission of the BID. I had no idea that that was
Hmm.
even part of the mandate at all, bro. For real. Business improvement district to me means that you're just going to be there trying to help the economic development of your businesses in the area. Like,
To
what
improve
what
business.
does the flowers out in front of the place have to do anything, and what and why would they have safety and security be a part of this thing? It's
And
it's it, Gene Stothert put these appoints these people in this organization, and
literally.
you know how much she's about the police. Her husband passed away, and she was like, "Don't send me gifts, send the police department money."
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Bro. 7:36 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and Paul B's mind is blown. Thank you, brother McKinney, for coming on, setting us straight on some things because
Man, dropping a
that's
bomb.
incredible. I think that we were supposed to have Precious McKesson come on, and we'd be politicking with P on the 45, but I think she's gonna jump in sooner than that because she got to get in on this one.
Chomping at the bit, man. She's ready. She's ready. I guess while you set that up and we get ready to have her join, I do want to kind of camel back on something that you just said as far as just the point of the BID and their plan, and just like we can't breeze over this whole plan of all these improvements as far as facade improvements and litter control and this
Loves
whole
jazz.
streetscape master plan. Yeah, loves jazz and beautifying it, but it just, to me, it feels like putting a nice box on an empty gift. Like
And
if if business owners in North Omaha don't have the resources to stay in business, then what good is more
flowers outside
trees?
the business, right?
What good is that going to do? Like, I understand, beautifying the area to make people kind of care more about it, but quite honestly, what's going to make me care more about the community is making money in the community.
Right. And with the money in the community comes the beautification of their businesses and
Right,
everything else, not
right,
not
right.
the other way around.
Exactly.
Because I do fully agree with the fact that there needs that some of these changes are it would is I'm an artist. I absolutely want music and art to come to the neighborhood and be a part of what's going on in order to uplift the community. I
Has its
absolutely
place.
want flowers outside of the buildings and safe sidewalks and safe places to walk around and hang out. I absolutely want all these things, but uh, if it means that that's all we're gonna concentrate on, and we'll leave the policing to the police, then nah, then I'm already on the other side of something that I'm not not understanding completely. Brother McKinney, I'm gonna definitely look at this ordinance. It says City Ordinance 42190, page 3, Part F. He's gonna tell you exactly where to go. Hiring of security staff to supplement police protection within the boundaries of the BID. Hiring of you could be hiring the BAA or other organizations that are. I'm in Benson. Saying that's what's happening here. The Exarban, the security team that drives around in Exarban all the time. They're also part of the security that's supposed to be for this Benson area as well.
Mm.
And I always think about that. Like, how much money do they spend on a private security company for these places? Instead of it, like Exarban don't even. I mean, it wasn't Exarban. I was thinking of Midtown. Midtown doesn't even all the time call the police for everything. Like they
They have
like,
their own security.
bro. Jumping in the chat real quick. Let's see. Tonight Patterson says, yeah, they fight over even token streetscape money going to North Omaha main thoroughfares because the whole finger wagging attitude is steeped in bigotry. They
Mm.
they violent and don't deserve XYZ. So if they shun spending money in the most storefront way, purse string holders have no intention of spending major funds in the most meaningful economically impactful ways. Even if that's not their mission, that's what it feels like to us. That's what it feels like. Facebook user says, yeah, safety and security being part of their responsibility to maintain funding is very odd to me. Does any other similar organizations have that responsibility, requirement responsibility? I'm in the Benson BID. I go to Benson BID meetings. I've never heard nothing about safety and security on that kind of level. That nobody's ever. We haven't talked about any of that. Facebook user says, starting this week, first time in 2 years, guys at the NSP will not be on 12-hour lockdown. Oh, this is Paul Philman in the house. He's jumping to another subject here about what's going on in the prison. Starting this week, first time in 2 years, guys at the NSP will not be on 12-hour lockdown. Recidivism finally started turning down. Staffing improvements is a part of this improvement. Much more work to be done, but returning to regular operation hours is important for mental health of guys inside. Community is unaware of true stress levels inside. Birth to prison poverty pipeline must be community focused. Fully agree with that. And
I'll actually say it's not completely a different topic. I think that is another point that should be added to this very conversation, because that's the other side of it. If you're not, showing the willingness or ability or even focus on actually investing in some true sustainable, change and really improving the businesses in your district, then it could be argued that you are, investing in this birth to prison pipeline. And I just don't know how planting more trees and more plants and, cleaning up the sidewalk is necessarily gonna do that fully.
well, Amy Heffler says, isn't is it to attract patronage though? Streetscape beautification. Like I said, I'm not against that. I totally absolutely feel like that's definitely part of that.
But
But
what businesses are you going to patronize?
but the point is that you can't have an area that's stricken with poverty and lack of resources, and think that putting some flowers out in front of a struggling business is going to help that. And I know that's not all that they're doing, of course. And by the way, I've asked for members of the BID to come on this show several times. Haven't gotten any word back from anybody. Just to let you know.
Put that out. Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm getting some a text from Precious real quick.
Okay. I'll hop in the chat while you check that.
Uh huh.
Brother Terrell McKinney is actually responding to what Brother Paul Fallman has said, kind of giving us more of a glimpse into the conditions of Nebraska State Prison, saying NSP has a rat infestation in the kitchen, and Tecumseh is still on a 4-3 schedule, which means essentially on weekends that they are locked down. And there's plenty of studies and plenty of data out there on how solitary confinement and lockdown impacts the mental health of inmates. So man, appreciate y'all too, both of you gentlemen, for that information.
Absolutely. Pop says, yeah, it's like beautifying the deck of the Titanic as it's sinking.
Basically.
I hear that. Also, Von Chapman says, this is all about control. BID is a Trojan horse and another city plant meant to circumvent the blue dot going forward. I got to find anything that is suspect. There's a couple things that are suspect about it to me. And it has to do with the origin of it, how it was put together, who put it together, who's there with it. Don't ever want to. There's like Buddy said in the beginning. There's people they're trying to do something. It doesn't mean that they're going to go without scrutiny from people about what they're going about doing and how and what's happening there. Um, so that's to me that's what we're here doing, because what we would really like to see is people who are putting more effort into eliminating poverty,
Right.
or just approaching eliminating crime in the way of eliminating poverty, like figuring out how to approach the root of the issues and the problems. You can save all the statements, you can save all the flowers. What I would like to see is an addressing of poverty in the area. That anyway.
No, I mean you're laying it out, man. I think it's important that we make that clarification, because I don't want it to seem like we're a north side based organization attacking another north side based organization. We're all family, and we all agree that we need to do something, but there is a disagreement on that something that needs to be done, and that's what this is, and we're just laying it out, man. Again, flowers are cool, but people need real money. Like what about this bank that they're supposed to be starting up on North 24th,
Man,
right there at the Carver Bank?
I
What
haven't
happened with that?
I haven't heard
I'm
much
not
more on that one
That's what
yet.
I'm saying. Like, they might be doing some things, but I'm hearing too much about these streetscape improvements, and I'm not hearing enough about the other business stuff that needs to be done.
And it could just be that the BID is more vocal than everybody else. Why don't we jump into that other article, because I wanted to kind of get some of the statements that, for instance, the Empowerment Network were making on this thing too was interesting. You want to jump into that article real quick? I think Precious is going to be on in about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Again, this is laid out by KETV Channel 7, and kind of shout out to them for some of the work that they're doing, and laying out some of the comments from specifically Ricky Smith, who shout out to brother Ricky Smith, who is the director of the Empowerment Network. And according to this article, his agency does go out on weekends, encouraging people to leave these big parking lots, which is sort of the beginning or kind of the surrounding issue with the incident that just happened, the shooting that just happened. Ricky Smith goes on to say, don't hang around and hang out in these parking lots. Just be safe and be aware of your surroundings. So if you see things start to kind of heat up a little bit, it's definitely time to go. According to reports, there was a large group that met up on some parking lot, and things got heated. And brother Smith is saying a way to avoid these incidents and to kind of stem or redirect the energy, if you will. He says we've got to start looking at more organized events and activities. And so if that's going to an establishment where there's going to be security, music, live DJ, where everybody is safe and where everybody can go and park safely and go home safely, he says that's something that they are interested in or are behind. The Empowerment Network's focus is ending gun and gang violence. Brother Smith did go on to say, we're really trying to be proactive. And so we're talking with our community leaders, some of the other programs that are out there that provide direct intervention in prevention. I'm trying to have a strategic plan so that when we're interacting, we are drawing on our own kind of community policing, which is more along the lines of what we would like to see. But I did want to mention that I do agree with brother Ricky Smith that as far as organized events and activities for the youth, that is a good way to kind of start to redirect some of those things. But while you're giving them fun activities to kind of stay busy and maintain their energy, we definitely need to start business. Like, if they're making money throughout the day and then kind of hanging out throughout the night, then things can start to change. But if you're still partying at night and going to these events, and then during the day you still don't have enough money to put food on the table, it's not really doing much.
This is true. Just jump in the chat real quick before we bring Precious on. First of all, Vicky Young says, I don't see it as an attack. I see it as holding organizations accountable. That's all we're
Okay.
really trying to do, not trying to attack
Right.
them. As a matter of fact, I've talked to people that's talked to some of the members of the BID, and they were really disillusioned. Like, I don't understand, like, why people are feeling this way about what we're doing. We're just trying to help, and yeah, we th- true, but it'd be nice that an organization like that can do something about trying to help. As a matter of fact, there's things that can be done, like Brother Terrell McKinney is saying. Is 24th Street a cultural district, nonprofit district, or business district? We need to. It'd be nice if we could try to make it into a business district, because my feeling it is very much so a nonprofit district. The Benson area just got made a cultural, a national, what is it? National cultural area, art district, a national art district.
What does that mean?
Yeah, good question. It's a status that we have now that, um, I'm not sure what kind of benefits come from being one of these kinds of districts, but we need to look into it, because that could be a direction to go towards, if we got music and art and all kinds of things on the block. How come 24th and Lake Street isn't that? We have history of music and art on the block. How
I
come?
mean,
Right.
several
Uh,
galleries.
Von Chapman says they're not a Northside organization; they're a city-inspired organization. Talking about the BID. Also, Facebook user says health of the community is gauged by number of children in poverty and number of people incarcerated. If we don't have these numbers, we're failing. So true. In the meantime, between time, I have been really waiting to hear what Miss Precious McKesson has to say about this. We're going to bring her on. Good morning to you, Miss Precious.
Hey,
Good morning,
hey.
y'all. Good morning.
How's it going?
Whew, it's going good.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Mhm.
Okay, okay.
I woke up to Terrence's comment. Like literally, like that's the first thing. I don't know how a fly got in my house. It's like they wake up. I don't know. It's just, anyways, but I didn't see Terrence's comment until take out my glasses because I'll just start fleeing. I didn't see when I woke up. I just happened to look on Facebook, and that's when I saw Mr. Terrence's comment, and so yeah.
Yeah, it was quite the doozy. What was your
Well,
feelings about the comment?
I mean, this is my thing. We have an organization that's basically clout chasing. I mean, using like different things. I mean, I don't get it. You bring up, you have these unofficial press conferences last year during Omaha days, and you want to enforce police, bring the police in basically to police all of the community on 24th Street during Omaha days. Then you put up a very much so offensive billboard that again, no one knows, no one has no community input. Again, you say these are businesses, but again, it's all nonprofits on 24th Street. Few businesses. Then you have columns. Let's not forget about the columns in the Omaha World Herald that basically are personal views. Yes, it is an editorial, it's your personal view, but things that are being said sometimes, I'm sorry, y'all, my hat looks like it's uneven. I'm like, so you have this article, and then you insert little certain I think the last article was when she said, "Oh, and I know somebody who had to move because of these it was basically a personal attack on the social club." And then this week you have a press release. I mean, like, when are we going to get to the part of when we're going to collaborate, start working together, and really see some change? Because if you go down the street on Sundays, you see Untamed hosting kids every Sunday, hosting families every Sunday, every Friday, movie nights, bringing informational things to them. When are they going to reach out and say, well, how can we assist y'all? How can we give y'all some dollars to continue this? Because if anybody is curbing the crime and curbing anything, it's that organization down the street that's hosting families and kids on Fridays, making sure they got food to eat, making sure they got bikes, making sure that these kids have somewhere that they're loved. They can have ice cream, they can have slushies, they can do anything, they can play basketball. That's who we should be talking about.
Right.
Because that's where it's going on down there.
What's the name? You said Untamed?
Untamed with Sherman Wells. He's doing and he has guests. He has people come in with information every week. He has a guest that comes in and highlights what's going on, what they're doing, helps parents be able to look at other resources. We partnered and we received a bunch of bikes from NCAP. NCAP had reached out to Nona and asked Nona if we wanted the bikes, and we were like, well, we don't want to wait till National Night Out because these kids need bikes now. So I reached out to Sherman, and Sherman and his group were able to come down and pick up bikes, and they gave all those kids brand new bikes. They fixed them up, made sure the men came out, make sure the bikes was together, and those kids got bikes. Let's highlight those groups. Why aren't the BID talking about them?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Not just the BID. Why isn't any of the organizations that are housed down there talking about them?
Right.
I'm not going to just put it on just the BID because again, it comes down to we are supposed to be forming community, and for some reason, people forgetting about community and looking for self.
I definitely get that impression. That's where I get the impression that that there's no collaboration here. I don't know of other organizations that they have been collaborating with. I don't know of any. I haven't heard of any. We've been talking about them for months now, and haven't really heard about any kind of real collaborations in the communities. Not with neighborhood associations. Not with grassroots organizations.
No, they do their own thing. But my thing is too, don't think you come in and you want to collaborate and you taking over people's stuff that they already doing. That's where people got to start checking folks at too, because you have people that come in and then they'll all of a sudden want to be able to want to say that they done did this, did that. No, you coming in to collaborate. But if you the lead, like, people need to stop playing, and they playing in our faces. And I don't care. I mean, I'm not trying to You know, I mean, whatever they doing, that's cool. But I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's just it's no collaboration, and it's more of clout chasing. Like honestly, I mean, look at their they released their bylaws. Look when they were approved. Go look at their paperwork and see what is a BID supposed to be doing.
Right.
They're not top flight security. They're not. I mean, come on now.
They ain't even hired. They ain't even hired the security.
Man. Of the world, Craig.
I'm like, man,
they got Gene Stothert's police department.
I don't know. I mean, I gotta, I'm a person where I am very much so in supportive of the good cops, but very much supportive of the of the ones who should not be police officers, like who should literally be sitting in the what's that, the stolen room, collecting and writing in the evidence room, whatever they do. They should be doing something, pushing paper. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, that has happened. You know, the chief has made it known that there's cops that, you know, if he don't feel, they do be pushing paper. And so, I mean, I think we have a relationship with the police, but we should have a relationship with the police to be able to establish a positive relationship. Every time when I hear the BID mention the police, it's always because they are always assuming something negative is happening. Okay. It's not a positive introduction, you know. It's always, we're doing this because it's negative, because something's going to happen.
Well, yeah, that's right. Because they put more on the street because something's going to happen. They need more traffic control down there. Right.
So I had to look it up real quick because Precious, you kind of laid it out, and this is a question that we were actually, dancing around throughout the most of the show. Like, what is the actual point of the BID? Is it security? Is it planting plants? So I just looked up a general definition. It says business improvement district is a business improvement district is a defined area within which businesses are required to pay an additional tax or levy in order to fund projects within the district's boundaries. The BID is often funded, follow the money, primarily through the levy, but can also draw on other public and private funding streams. Is that
so that I've been hearing that the BID also is gets funds from the Sherwood Foundation on top of other places.
I don't know. You would have to look up their
yeah, that's what I heard. That was word on the street, so that's a rumor. That's not confirmed.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they was. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But another thing. But also, I think if you look at the first BID that was in Omaha was the Ames Benson BID. That was the first BID. I think when Councilwoman Johnson, when she started 24th Street North Corridor Alliance, she went in to do a BID. She wanted to do a BID, but it was scratched from her. And then years later, this one comes up. But that's so the first person who ever brought it out in North Omaha to have a BID, because people don't know, Councilwoman Johnson is a founding member of NONA. And then she branched off and created the 24th Street Corridor Alliance. So you had two alliances there, but she was still very much so, and still is a partner with NONA. She was the one who brought up the BID first. So I always got to get that history. I just want people to know that this was not an idea that just came from this group that's there already. It wasn't. This was already presented to council. This was presented to Ben Gray when Councilwoman Johnson was, which still is the leader of the 24th Street Corridor Alliance. They just didn't do it, and then someone else comes along, and I guess the shiny new penny or whatever you want to call it, and then they.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Ben Gray has something to do with the BID that exists now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Earlier in the chat, Beth Davis said he was the one who put it together.
No, he did not put it together. He was not the one who put it together. He was the council person who supported it.
Got it.
The BID was put together. They had the idea, but he was the one who pushed it so that it could be passed by the city.
That is really, really interesting.
And also, let's get the history about Ben Gray was a part of establishing NONA, also North Omaha Neighborhood Alliance. So he has been a part of. You see the difference. You see the work, and then you see the people who are doing the work, and you see the people who kind of the couch. So he's been a part of these organizations. But once you get into the actual organization, say, okay, what work are you doing? You know, right. Is it a power move, or is it actual? I'm boots on the ground.
Without saying too much, I've heard some things about Ben Gray along those lines, and it's not the first time that I heard that.
With that said, I just want to break in real quick. It's 8:00 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. We got special guest Precious McKesson in the house. We're politicking with P, and we've been on a subject here for the first hour, based on a statement that the BID has put out about the shooting crimes that's happened on 24th around the 24th street area, just recently. And I want to pivot right now, because now we've talked a lot about what it is that we think about this statement, what it is that is being done, what needs to be done. And I want to pivot to what Precious got on here talking about. Why aren't we talking about these other organizations that are feet on the ground doing some things? I'd like to give them as much time as we giving the yes. BID statement. So I would very much like to jump into the chat real quick. Beth Davis Wilson says, yes, Juanita was building the BID idea. Ben Gray brought the current BID leader in over winter meetings very quickly. Beth Davis Wilson is a chat chimer that lives in the area, lives on 24th Street, and has been part of a lot of what's been going on as far as the neighborhood is concerned. So she definitely has some insights on some of these things that we're talking about here with the BID, especially. And I just want to mention that, like I said, I've been going to some of these BID meetings in Benson. The business improvement district can happen in all kinds of other places. Benson has one. Right now, they're fighting over whether or not they're going to put parking meters on in Benson, and those types of conversations. Different kind of conversations that we're having over here in Benson with the BID that we're having on 24th Street BID, because we have to throw in this element of the stuff that's happening in the area, which is, a lack of some economy. We need more business. We need more actual business, and maybe less nonprofits. We need to be an actual business improvement district. If you have a business improvement district in a nonprofit district, then what business are you improving? You're improving the business of the nonprofit organizations that are funded by large corporate, that are funded by.
Don't get them no ideas, Paul. Next thing you know, they'll be putting meters in low income areas, talking about people got to park on 24th Street and people can barely even make sure they put food on the table for their family. Please don't give them no ideas.
Hey, we're all here to vote all that down. That's what that's about. But moving in on now this new hour, I definitely want to talk about some of these other organizations. Give them some time. So Precious, amongst the ones that you just mentioned, what are some of these other organizations that we could talk about? Yes.
Well, yes. I definitely want to shout out, like I say, Untamed. We have they're doing some work down there. You have North Omaha Community Partners. You have the BAA. They're all about to they're coming together. You got Black Men United. You have all these organizations that are doing this work, and they're coming together to collaborate. That's something that everybody doesn't understand. Like, a lot of these groups come together to collaborate. NONA, Omaha United for Youth. Like, it's never just one group. So let's just start highlighting those groups, because now with school starting, they are going to be announcing a back to school drive. This year, Omaha United for Youth, we won't be doing our annual back to school drive, because we both two of the core members, actually, I say all of us, we all have something going on. Our daughters are going off to college, businesses are booming, so we did not have enough time to be able to put this on. And so you have other groups that have collaborated together, and they are coming together to do a back to school, a back to school function. And so make sure you're supporting them. You can reach out to Tamika Renee on Facebook, North Omaha Community Partners. Just reach out to them. They do need volunteers. They need support. They need financial support. This is how you pull off things to make sure that our kids are going back to school with the necessary supplies and tools that they need, and to start off with a good year. Let these kids come out, have a good time, finish off the summer, and then go back strong. So I definitely want to just make sure we're starting to highlight those organizations, because again, we have organizations that are doing some very, very positive work, but it's not based off of it's actually it's not based off of self, it's based off of family, and it's really getting families involved and giving families the tools to be successful and to have that support within the community.
That's what it's about.
Love that. Collaboration is key, like Vicky Young said. Well, Mayor Sanchez asking, is First Sky doing the backpack drive? Nope. We can think about it. We can talk about doing that though.
Yeah.
We're definitely down for that action. What I would like for Sky Omaha to do more of is highlight some of these businesses. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about now that we're going live from the void. We'd love to go down to the actual places and do some live streaming from the actual the organizations that are doing the work.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
Like
And I'm not saying this, and I say this, Lord, I say this with all respect. When Omaha United for Youth started, when we did the backpack drive, it was a mission, but it was a reason behind it. Not to say that the Salvation Army or whoever, but you see all these organizations like KETV come together and they do all these big supply drives, have people drop it off at Baker's, but then you have to have people go to Salvation Army, stand in line, paper push, give your social security number, how many people live in your house, all this data entry stuff, just so they can continue to get funding. But then when it comes for certain things, we don't give to that. We only give during this time of the year. And it's like, how are you asking for people to donate, and then people got to come paper push and give all their information so that you can continue to sustain? So when we created, it was like, no one does any paper pushing. No one has to give their information. Just bring your kids. I mean, if you say, we know that, who's going to say I got 12 kids and knowing they only got 3 kids to get 12 book bags? I mean, if you got 7 nieces and you need a book bag, come get them. That's what we got to start doing. That paper pushing part really bothers me, because again, all it is for them to continue to receive funding. But when you ask them, like, where's that funding going to? But when people really truly need help, it's kind of hard for them to get help, or you have a cap off or a cut off. And I just think, we need to do a little bit better. I mean, it's just something that it's nothing wrong. And again, I don't want this to be taken wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with receiving anything from the Salvation Army. I just don't like the fact that we have to then go and paper push, and normally the people that are standing in line are people of color, people of in poverty, and they got to stand in line, and then you got people who work, who are volunteers, who are rude. It's just a lot behind it. It should be a happy atmosphere, and really getting the kids, and then sometimes they say, you got to bring your kids with you too, and I'm like, it's hot outside. Who wanna bring all their kids with them down to grab some book bags? I mean, again, I love the fact, come get the book bags, get the food, have fun, network with the community, and boom.
It's almost like they're circumventing the dignity of providing dignity with the situation. It's hard enough to come ask for some help, and you got to go deal with some mess and give them all your information and do all this stuff. I don't even mind the giving of the information if they could just be transparent about it. You can say, look, we if we can get your information so that we can show this, or we can get this federal money or get these dollars from somewhere else, it goes right back to y'all. It goes back to the community, and this is how it does. So have some transparency on how those funds go back into the community. That might help them out some. But
Right.
I like yours even more. Let's come down and get what you need, and let's have an atmosphere of fun and dignity.
It's like this. I mean, who like Vicky Young just said, we got to prove that we're poor in order to access resources. I mean, like, are you going to have some people who who be like, okay, now they may not need it, but they come in because they hate it. But who are we to say what you do and what you don't need? I mean, now if you have like 100 people, you'd be like, wait a minute, we know you know, then it's different. But you're not going to have that many people, coming to access resources. I think people who really need it are going to access those resources. It's not people just being, lazy because they just don't want to do it. So I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the attitude.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. I'm definitely down to do a drive. I even am thinking about how to partner with the Benson Theater, since we're over there working too. They the owner there, Amy Ryan, who used to own the pizza shop, and then the B side, used to do all them kind of drives and have food coming and backpacks coming and all kinds of stuff like that. And we want to kind of do some of that over there too, because I like where it's positioned. It's positioned in a way that people who come to theater and stuff like that, they got a little bit of money, they come drop off some things, and we
set
can
up some boxes, and then donate them to an organization that's doing it. I mean, that's how we give back. If we say, okay, use our resources in our community that or organizations that we have, and then we give them with the Democratic Party, we order supplies and then we give them out. We give them away to an organization. We don't have to do the whole book drive, but we at least are contributing our part so they can stuff those book bags, because that's what comes up short. You can have 500 book bags. What's the hard part is getting the supplies in the book bags. That's the part. You can buy the book bags by bulk.
Right. But pencils, notebooks, erasers,
right.
Computers.
Yeah, that's a huge one. That's a huge one. Yeah,
Judy Princess says no judgment. That's what I'm getting at. No judgment.
Yeah.
Have some dignity in how it is you're helping. It's hard enough to go down and ask for help.
But to be treated like you're poor while you're trying to get some help is hard. Like, come poor people.
Being treated that way and have to prove it. Right.
Look
at all my kids. Look at all.
I was going to say, to that point, that's also why big shout out to Leah Cates, why we have millions and millions of dollars that have yet to be shelled out for some of these COVID relief funds, because all this red tape and all this paper pushing that you got to do to prove, man, it's ridiculous, quite honestly.
Wanda Lewis says, I have submitted the names of some families in need. The family would tell me that the organization would call the following year and ask if there was any changes, yet the family never received anything at all. Ain't that a mess? That's a hot mess. So yeah, man, he says, is there Rosary says there black backpack supply list?
Yeah, pencils, paper, loose leaf paper, pens, black, blue, and red, highlighters, crayons.
Okay. Do the schools still give those out to the students? I know they did at one point, and then I think Walmart has them as well.
Oh, you mean the list?
Yeah, like a physical list.
Teachers is buying their own supplies.
Yeah, they are. Unfortunately, they are.
I think Walmart does, but I think you could also look up online and put a generic
just Google
supply list for third grader, and it'll kind of give you some generic stuff.
We got a special guest coming on in just about 3 minutes. But before we get out of here, I definitely want to say, let's continue this conversation about the grassroots organizations that are doing something. Highlight them. I wanted to get some brief comments on some of what our so-called leaders are saying about stuff that's happening. But I would much more rather talk about the people that are on ground doing stuff, because to me, we all talk about this all the time. Poverty usually is at the bottom of the issue when it comes to violence, and if we're not doing nothing about raising the level of income and business for people, and help and just help in general, then we're not really doing too much. Wanda Lewis says, when you donate to these major organizations, they also help people in other areas such as Council Bluffs. So donating and helping and doing what we can, and feet on the ground type of help is the real stuff, it was just about 2 minutes. Like I said, we're going to let you go so we can bring in our next guest. But in the next 2 minutes, let us know some of the things that we need to be politicking with you about.
Yes. So this is very much so important. So today, Douglas County, anybody who's on the permanent vote by mail list, you will start receiving a card. Your cards in the mail. They'll be mailed out today. These cards will be for you to request your permanent ballot, which I think it's so redundant. If you're on the permanent list, you got to say you want to get it still. But anyways, make sure that you get those cards. Those cards will not look the same. They will be green and white due to paper supply issues. So do not throw away anything you get from the Omaha, the Douglas County Election Commission. Make sure you return that permanent card. If you want to be on the permanent list and you want to receive a ballot, reach out to me in my inbox, and I will send you a link. Actually, I'll throw the link in here after I'm off in the chat so that you can request a vote by mail, an early ballot for the November 8th election. Christy asked me to talk about Mean Gene. Baby, let me tell you, all I know is I took that screenshot. Shout out to the ones who took my picture off my page and used it as theirs. I know it's mine because my TV was on pause. So stop taking my screenshots. Stop taking my pictures, y'all. I see it. I'm gonna start tagging them. Stop doing that. And then you make your own status. Share my post. Put some respect on my name.
Hey.
Don't take my picture. I actually sat in front of my TV and took a picture of that. And you can see the pause on the thing because I paused the TV. Quit playing with me, y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. But anyway.
Also, really quickly, I do want to ask about the diversity, equity, inclusion officer that Omaha just hires, Keith Station. You in support, or what are your thoughts?
Keith Station?
Yes, Keith Station, Omaha's first officer for diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're hiring a new position.
Oh, I didn't know. So he was already working for the city. So he's been promoted.
Yeah, so it's looking like 131,000 for the consultation on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
He's great. I mean, he's an Omaha native. He's a great friend of mine. I've been knowing him since we were little kids. He knows the work. I mean, he went to UNL. Great person. I feel like, you know, no better person to be in that position who actually knows who knows the community. He's very much so a part of the city staff. He's always out when the mayor's at events, anything that the mayor's at, anything representing the city, he's there. I think, you know, I feel like, you know, I think he's already been there, if I'm not mistaken.
Say he is the director of the DDI.
Yeah, he is the director. And then you have, he is the director. He's been there for like over a year or so, maybe, or maybe 2 years, but he's been there. Y'all definitely need to just reach out to him. He'll come on. He's a good guy. He worked at the workforce he worked in the workforce development area. So he's a good guy. I mean, definitely reach out to him and have him come on. I mean, you know, he's a good guy. He's real cool, real good guy. So I support that. I support Gerald Kuhn, with Gerald's down there at Human Rights and Relations. Like, these are people I've known who grew up in North Omaha, grew up in the community. So, you know, very supportive. You know, I feel like I don't have to be Precious the political person. I'm Nick. Precious from the kid. Precious the person who knows you. So I'm not gonna call you being nice. I'm like, look, what y'all got going on down here? Y'all playing, you know, but good people. So very much so supportive. But again, make sure y'all get out and vote. If y'all saw what happened in Kansas last night, and I posted it on my thing, Kansas is Kansas is have more independent voters than Democrats and Republicans, I think.
Wow.
Or no, more than Democrats. Their independents cannot vote on their ballot for candidates. They can, when you're an independent, you can only vote for issues. So if issues come about in the state you don't have any issues on your ballot, you don't vote. The fact that independents showed up and blocked their abortion ban shows the power of the vote. And that's in a red state. So I need Nebraska to step up, regardless if you are independent, the Democrat, however you vote, you need to have your voices heard. And Kansas showed us last night how to do it. And like I emailed the executive director last night. I said, if I was you, I'll be petitioning how to get those independents to be able to vote on your ballot, on the Democratic ballot. Because that's what we do in Nebraska.
Like we do here, right?
Yes, because they showed up. So again, shout out to Kansas. Shout out to Nebraska voters who are really being engaged, but make sure y'all get those ballots in your request for your early ballots. That's all I have from Precious.
You said green and white. They should be looking out for the green and white.
Yes, it's green and white. It's not the all green card, because due to supply issues, and people were like, oh, bragging on them. I'm gonna tell you, it's not. It's a supply issue across the board. We're doing slate cards again this year. We had to order paper 3 months in advance, and the paper just got here in order for us to ensure that we had slate cards going out in the next couple of weeks. So just know it's not a lie. It's paper supply. And then people don't want to order paper from overseas and then have the risk of it not even getting through the ports.
I hear you. Appreciate the information. We got to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, we'll see you next week, 7:45. Politicin with Pete, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye,
Precious.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.
All right, there you go. We always love it when Precious comes on. Thank you so much. You got a lot of love in the chat. I'm sure that you can see that.
Yes,
we'll take a quick break and come right back. And we'll have Miss Jannette Taylor in the house to talk about a very important subject coming up too. So stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Stay tuned. Live from the voids going down. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Once again, Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, live from the void. Shout out to Weberized Studios. If you got your podcast ideas, then you need to go to Weberized and get those podcast ideas and turn them into reality, because it's going down. Thanks for everybody that's chiming. We have a special guest coming in. It's Jannette Taylor, who is president and CEO of the Women's Center for Advancement. Good morning, Miss Taylor. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You in the office already, huh? You ready to go?
Yeah. Putting in the work.
I'm not ready, but I'm here.
I appreciate the honesty. Definitely thank you for joining us. Oh man, hey, all of us. We still recouping from the weekend. But thank you for joining us despite being tired, and definitely looking forward to this conversation that you're going to have with Miss Tarana Burke, the founder of the Me Too movement. Can you kind of give us some background and some information of this conversation?
So we're actually having Tarana Burke come. She'll be at the Holland Center on August 10th at 6:30. And it's basically like just a conversation and interview, talking to her about like the Me Too movement and everything that's happening. She just had a book that came out, so we'll talk a lot about her book, and just like the inequities with people of color getting access to getting proper medical treatment, getting treated, professionally, and with the same sort of integrity as others when they are victims of sexual assault or domestic violence. I'm not starting any problems today, but there's a lot of research about how people of color are often not believed when they're victims of these particular crimes. So we'll talk a lot about that. It is obviously a fundraiser for the WCA. So we will, all the proceeds will go to the WCA, which obviously we serve victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. So yeah, that'd be great.
Very cool. You looking forward to speaking with? Have you spoke to her before? You guys familiar?
I have not. No, I have not. And so I'm excited to just get her perspective on a lot of things, even talk to her about like Roe versus Wade and some other things that came down the pike. She was the founder of the Me Too movement in 2006. And these are my words, not hers. It's not in the book. These are my words. I feel like she started that movement in 2006 and it got co-opted in 2017, right? And like it went all hot. And then, she had to do a lot to prove that it was hers to begin with. And then she finally got credit for it. So I will talk to her about that and what that feels like, because that happens all the time.
Yeah, especially the so-called women of color, especially. So definitely looking forward to that. But you did touch on some things that are happening, and I am kind of curious, to see her comments, but I'm kind of curious to see what you think. We have had you on the show before, and some things have changed and come out. Of course, Roe v. Wade, and then also I would like to remind people that Omaha, Nebraska specifically still has thousands of rape kits that have not been processed either. So I do want to put that out there. But what are your thoughts on Roe v. Wade and just kind of the current state of women's rights?
It's women's rights are always under attack, so that's not surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised when they overturned Roe versus Wade. I just didn't think that would happen. But then, like in hindsight, I'm like, are you really surprised? Like this is America. This always happens. Like, why are we really surprised? And as a Black woman, like I expect my rights to be like violated or muted, because that's just kind of like for the last 4 experience. So I'm not too surprised by it. I just didn't think it was going to happen with Roe versus Wade. And as far as like, what you're saying about all the rape kits, I know you're aware because we talked about it before, there's a project, the Saki project, where they're actually testing those kits and then reaching back out. But the sad part about that is that some of these incidents happen like, 10 years ago. It could be many, many years. And so when you're contacting somebody who's a survivor, like 10 years later, 5 years later, even a year later, that it's disturbing. So
yeah, can actually kind of re-trigger some things that they passed. So yeah, it is a very unfortunate situation.
Yeah, I agree with you on Roe v. Wade. I was very surprised it happened. My understanding of laws were that they were pretty solid, and this kind of shook all that. These things are not solid. I just heard something this morning about a vote that just happened in Washington somewhere. I don't even remember what it was, but the machine, they said they had a technical difficulties. They fixed the difficulty and came back, and the Republicans had changed their votes. It was on veterans affairs or rights or something, and the veterans like, we're gonna sleep here until you change them back. I'm like,
Mhm.
the precariousness of votes and just everything that happens. It always feels like, is this solid? Will this stick, or is it just gonna have to be a constant fight all the time?
I
You
think
know?
it will be a constant fight, and the only thing we have working for us is we have technology, so we can quickly, like, share information, we can quickly prove that people are falsifying, records online and things like that, but this is something we've dealt with for so long, and I'm interested to talk to, Tarana Burke about, like, her, because obviously she was a community organizer for
Mm,
years, and, she lived in the South for quite the things that she experienced when her child was assaulted and when, um, she herself was assaulted, and how law enforcement replied, they responded to her, and how the law works, and how, it's just it's an interesting perspective being Black in this country, and so I am interested to see, like, trying to push this movement forward, how she felt when her voice was muted and kinda overshadowed by all these Hollywood people, and how, like, literally this one small movement erupted into, like, this international thing. She's
yeah.
very political, so I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that are happening.
Yeah.
This talk is gonna be at the Holland Center. Is that right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
So it's 6:30 to 7:30, and we are, just yesterday we got a discount code, so we're giving out discount codes to student groups, church groups, and some other folks. And so I'll share that with you guys later.
Nice.
But just mainly we want to make sure people have access because it's an important conversation to have. You know, it blew up with Harvey Weinstein, but this has gone on forever. Like, Malcolm X said, the most disrespected, unprotected um, woman in America, woman. So that'll be an interesting conversation to have when she shares like her trauma and what she went through.
Definitely. Where can people go to get tickets?
Holland Center online. So
Okay.
there's what we're trying to do. It is a fundraiser, but I was able to get a sponsor to share some of the costs. And so what we are doing discounted tickets for a little while because I do want to make sure it's a full house and people are able to have some conversations. We don't talk a lot about domestic violence and sexual assault because it's so taboo. But it is important to talk about because there are lots of people who don't have access to support services because of like their gender identity or because of their color. We see this with trans folks all the time. You see it with Black and brown folks. So that's the conversation I don't want to have, and just talk about sort of like what do we do next? Like I know y'all know this. Like what happened with these senators down in Lincoln? There was the one guy who was taking pictures, a Grony, of the lady that was on his staff. He's like, "Oh, well, we were friends. I thought it was okay to take pictures of her bending over back, just behind her, things like that." And then what happened with that guy, the herbster, basically put hands on a woman and said that he was just kidding. And the response was, "Well, what was she wearing?" As if that gave them permission to do something to her.
Right.
So I don't know. I just think it'll be an interesting conversation, and if you can see like this issue on a local level. Like you're
Yeah.
talking about like the Saki rape kits, you can see just sort of like the disregard when this happens. So I'm excited about that conversation.
I think that's the right word, disregard. Also, something is coming to mind in this conversation as well. It's quite interesting. Kendrick Lamar's new album, Mr. Morale and the Steppers, he kind of touches on men dealing with sexual assault and how that kind of manifests. And and we kind of started the show talking about gun violence, how men who deal with sexual assault kind of act out aggressively, and that manifests in gun violence and things like that. So I did want to add that to the conversation. Men are victims of sexual assault as well, and that needs to be added to the conversation. But as far as the Me Too movement being co-opted, I personally I agree with that sentiment. That's something that I watch happen in real time, and I'm interested in seeing what Sister Tarana has to say about it. But what are your thoughts about where the Me Too movement is now and kind of where you see it moving forward?
Well, my perspective is that I feel like when things happen on social media and you see it or it gets some airplay, everybody's all involved, like rocking t-shirts, doing the hashtags, posting. And then the next thing comes along and you forget issue that you were just talking about, retweeting and all this. I feel like Harvey Weinstein went to jail and then it kind of died down. But like Harvey Weinstein is not a threat to me, but there are other predators like out on the streets, people like in the community and our families at work that need to be had about predators out here. And so it makes me sad that a lot of times it's just like we have these movements and then they kind of die down a little bit when the next thing comes along. And it looks like somebody's talking about like middle school and behaviors that show up there. Even when we talk about like men, because we've had this conversation before, the three of us, men who are assaulted, it's oftentimes embarrassing because it's something that's not like, I hate to say it, but it's not normal. It's not of the norm when you think about sexual assault or abuse. Like your manhood is questioned and all these other things. And so we have these conversations about like organizations like ours. It's called the Women's Center for Advancement. We serve all people, all genders, but even like I've had conversations with men who have come here. It's difficult to even come here because most of our staff are women. And then how can they have a conversation with another man about being assaulted without feeling like they're going to be judged in some way? So it's complicated. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
It is, which is why we, commend you for having these conversations and inviting the likes of Tarana Burke to share her story and kind of be an inspiration.
Yeah. I want to say I'm glad that you're having it at the Holland. I feel like I've been to several very important talks there. The first one was when Angela Davis came to town. And that put a weight on the place for me that was like, when somebody comes to speak here, it's heavy, it's big. And just to know, like I'm anxious to hear from her too, that very thing that you said, like when you she started this movement, it got co-opted and went Hollywood. Now she's getting the credit again. Did the going Hollywood help her some? You know what I'm saying? Like now that it's back in her hands, as far as her having the credit for starting this movement, has that been helping her work around the country?
Well, it's international now. So she talked about it in the book. She was obviously offended when she saw the first couple tweets come out because I think one of her friends had shared it with her. And so she was like, how are they just stealing my work? I've been doing this since 2006 for the last 11 years. And so that was hard for her. But she said that whole day for like, I think it was like over 24 hours, she was just like going on social media, reading. And there was a post from a white woman who said something like, this Me Too movement has allowed me to share something I've never shared before. And then the white woman shared how she was raped and how she hadn't told anybody in years, but because of that hashtag and that movement, she was able to do it. And I think that's when Tarana says she saw that it was bigger than it was bigger and it needed to be bigger. And I think that kind of gave her some kind of resolution with just having her work co-opted.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear from her on that subject.
Yeah, powerful.
Let me ask you. First of all, it's 8:34 right now. If you believe in the concept of time and you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, live from the void. We got Miss Jannette Taylor in the house. She is the president and CEO of the Women's Center for Advancement, and she's speaking to us about a special guest that she's gonna that they're bringing to the Holland Center. What's the date for
August 10th? It's next week. August 10th.
August 10th next week. We'll definitely put that information in Friends of First Sky Omaha. We'll put it in the chat. We'll put it everywhere. The heaviness of a speaker like that coming to the Holland Center is huge. You definitely should show up and support that and support those efforts. Speaking of which, if we wanted to continue to help you support the efforts, you're here for a very specific reason, to help this organization, the Women's Center for Advancement, and so tell us a little bit about that and how other people can help with that, and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we obviously we help survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking, and stalking. So people can come here, speak with advocates. We will go to court with folks. We have in-house therapy that we offer. We have case managers who help with self-sufficiency after you've gotten out of a situation, domestic violence. And we have in-house attorneys who grants and various things, divorces, child custody, family law in general, and then also immigration, because a lot of times immigration status is used to kind of keep somebody in bondage in a domestic violence situation. So we do a lot of things here. People can help by either donating to the cause, by volunteering. We have a couple of events throughout the year. We do drive-through food pantries for folks. We do we give away Christmas gifts for kids who parents are survivors, things like that. We recently got a significant amount of funding to expand like our housing program. And as you know, housing is a super huge issue in general, especially after COVID. But it's really hard when you're like in a domestic violence situation and you can't break a lease and get your own lease because you're with your abuser. There's a new law out. Well, it's not that new. It's been about a year that protects survivors where they can break a lease and then it won't count against them or show up on their credit. So with our housing program, we'll be able to house people it's a multi-year grant. So we'll be able to house people for quite some time. And that's something that we've never had before. But what people can do is donate. We always take like houseware items, pots, pans, things like that. And we like furniture if it's gently used. I always say don't donate something that you wouldn't use yourself, because we want everybody to have dignity and respect. So yeah, just you can volunteer, you can donate either money or items. You can just share the word about what's happening locally on a local level. When you're talking about like we need to have these conversations about these kids not being tested. We need to have conversations about and how they're not able to deal with their trauma in the same way as women are. We need to have conversations about Black and brown women and girls being sort of exploited sexually and being assaulted and not having the same level of support as others. Like these are conversations that are not, easy and appealing. Okay, it's a birthday party going on, but we need to have these conversations because if we ignore it, that ignores the survivor, and it just doesn't sort of support their experience. So, yes.
Yeah. That's what's up. We can't hear him, by the way.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
You're calling my name. I'm like,
I'm busy. I didn't want to lay out though. If anyone knows anyone going through a similar situation or is dealing with a similar situation, there is a 24/7 crisis hotline that you can call, 402-345-7273. Again, that's 402-345-7273. So yeah, definitely there are resources. Please speak up.
Jannette, show us that book one more time, please.
Yeah, please.
So this is her new book. It's called Unbound.
Nice.
Okay, I like that cover.
I'm telling everybody to buy this book from the Afro-American bookstore on 30th and Lake, because
go holler at the other Jannette Taylor.
Jannette Taylor, that's my
yes, that's
I love her. Yes. So we got all of these books for our staff, and I'm just recommending that if you do buy the book, buy it from there. We need to support local businesses and especially Black businesses. And I love Miss Annette, so if you can, that would be helpful.
That's really real.
Please check them out.
Miss E in the chat says, my mother was stalking a victim when I was a young teen. We went to a battered women's shelter in 3 states before he gave up. What you're doing is incredibly appreciated. You already know, but I had to say it. That's what's up,
man.
Interesting stuff, man. I think as a man too, I always often think about these types of things. We don't see a lot of what's going on because if men are doing these things, they do a lot of it hidden. from other men a lot of times. But we talked about that last time we had you on the show, and you were like, "Nah, you can see it. You can see it if you're
Yeah.
looking." You know what I'm saying? So definitely want
Yeah.
to make sure that the men in the group keep their eyes out on some of these things, protect our women, protect our families, protect our young boys and girls and everybody.
Yeah, man.
Also, Ali Peeler in the house. Hey, she says, I am forever grateful for the WCA. I will send everyone I know there when they need more assistance and help. I've had to call that hotline and direct friends to as well. That's great. I'm glad that that hotline exists and that people are able to use it. So
Get remedy.
sounds like you finding some success over there with the people that you're helping in the community. Do you feel like that's happening, or do you feel like there's more to do?
Oh my God, there's always more to do. I think that a lot of times people kind of fall in the cracks, or they don't know what resources are out there, or they may have a bad experience, right? Like, we're an organization, we have lots of staff here. Everybody's not perfect. So I know sometimes people can even call here and not get the help they need based off of what they say they need. Like, sometimes it's hard to say, like, I've been sexually assaulted, or I'm a victim of domestic violence and I need this. So people will call and say things like, well, what type of services do you offer? Things like that.
Yeah.
Um, I think men need to check men. Like, I'm not saying that this is just a problem when it comes to domestic violence and sexual assault, but like, y'all need to check each other when y'all hear these things. Like Hal Dobbs saying, what was that lady wearing? Like,
Yeah,
what are
that's
you
great.
talking about? And then
Yeah.
when you think about um, just in general, like in the hood who are like in our neighborhoods who are a little too aggressive when women walk by, or they say inappropriate things that you wouldn't want somebody to say to your mom or your daughter, but you let it slide because it's, one of our friends or our homies or whatever. We know that, we see it, and we see these predatory behaviors and we don't check it. And I think
Yeah.
we need to have those conversations too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've actually saw a post on Facebook about this, especially in the African American community. That uncle that everybody knows, everybody is. It has been some instances where I've heard family stories where everybody knows, and they just kind of don't really want to touch it or don't really address it. So we got to start protecting these family members as well.
Or
I mean,
like, shit, look at R. Kelly. Like, hello, let's not. I ain't gonna talk about R. Kelly because last time I almost got into a fight over R. Kelly, but look at R. Kelly and like his behavior. We need to have these conversations too, right?
Yeah.
well,
Like, just because somebody is special, or they provide, like they do music or they do whatever, like they don't get a pass. Like, would you give that pass if it was your daughter or your mom or your sister?
some
And
people
men,
have.
men need to check men on that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say, from a perspective of a man that does check men, that does mean that, like, I've established this uh way around me that I'm not going to deal with the BS. So then I don't see it. Like, like, don't be bringing that mess around here. And you say that enough times, and people don't. Then it really is something that I don't see much of anymore because I'm not
Hmm.
surrounded by those types of dudes. That just. But now I see it more like if I'm out and I'm seeing dudes I don't know act up, then now that's an opportunity to check another guy sometimes when it comes to that type of thing. But it kind of dissipated as the older I got, the more I got my surroundings a little differently. Enough about that though. In the next 2 minutes, I do wanna bring up a
Yeah.
couple things because yeah, tell them to bring you some cake and just go and
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah,
party
yeah,
while we're
yeah.
here.
You're
Go
trying to
ahead,
close
go
the
ahead.
blinds because I can't, like, the sun. I can't see.
I'm looking at your wall. We always have a great rapport between us because all of my idols are all your idols. I
Yeah,
see
they
James
are. They
Baldwin
all
back
there.
here, Basquiat back there. You got Biggie. You got Obama. You
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you do the thing. I see a James Baldwin quote you got on the wall with the red, black, and
yes.
green. I love it, and I love the fact. One of the things I say too is that one of the things that makes me friends with people is when I respect the things that they're into. So I love the things you're into.
Yeah.
Respect that all about it. Have you been able to use any examples from any of their lives, for instance, when you're talking to people and helping people, especially James
I
Baldwin? I would
mean,
think.
oh my God, I love him. His birthday was yesterday. So
Yeah,
just in
yeah.
general, like, think about how James Baldwin had to show up in the world. Like, he was a gay man who couldn't be an openly gay man.
A
Uh,
black man.
a gay black man in a very, very racist America, who had to sort of hide that part of his life, even though people close to him knew. Um, he talked about it in the Fire Next Time, how like he had to go have like dinner. He felt guilty and convicted because he went off like after leaving dinner to go on a date with a man. So just thinking about that and how that shows up, how people can't even be themselves, thinking about our organization and how for some time the LGBT community felt like they couldn't come here and get services and help. There's some easy correlations with things that happen. Being a Black woman, I told somebody the other day, and it's true, I don't know any woman in my circle who hasn't been sexually assaulted, abused, or had some type of crazy experience wouldn't fly with any other woman that was not a person of color. So like when I think about like all the icons of Maya Angelou's and people who lifted up voices, it's easy to sort of connect the people I admire that inspired me to the work.
I hear that. Love it.
Powerful.
Well, thank you very, very much for coming through. I just want to jump into one more comment. Facebook user, I think Miss E says, yes, my mother always said only a man can effectively check another man. If an abuser valued a woman's opinion, then they wouldn't be an abuser. Just as only other white person can effectively check a racist. I like that statement a lot. Very interesting.
For sure.
Yep. Wanda Lewis says, with the R. Kelly situation, I was appalled at the parents who allowed it to happen in order for their daughter's children to have a come up.
Yeah, man.
Definitely something to talk about there. Also, I always think about how much R. Kelly spread that money around to build that little tight knit, business around him to make. Yeah, he had a whole Ford factory
operation
on in there. Operation, right?
Yeah.
Rose Review says, one of my best friends referred to women derogatory and needs to find one. I told him stop referring to them as such, and he will attract a queen when he starts referring to them as not one. Interesting stuff. Yeah, ways to check other men on how to speak about people, because what you speak, you manifest. What's in your heart comes out of your mouth, and and that's just what it is. So yeah, again, thanks for coming. We really appreciate all the work that you're doing over there. We don't have you on enough. There's more to talk about with these things, but please put get that book
at the African American bookstore, y'all.
At the African American bookstore, 30th and Lake.
And again, Tarana Burke is what's the date on Tarana Burke again?
August 10th at 6:30 at the Holland Center. And right now I did add we have a discount code, which is Burke. If you put that in, you'll be able to get a discounted ticket, because I do want to make sure, a lot of times these events are very expensive to attend, and I know this is a fundraiser, but now that we have like someone helping, I would love to just make sure that everybody who wants to attend can. So
there you go. There you go. Again, the ticket, the link to purchase a ticket and the discount code is in the chat for anyone interested. Please check that out. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Next week goes down at the Holland Performing Arts Center. As always, a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Y'all keep checking those men for me. I appreciate y'all.
Oh yeah, for sure. Go enjoy your cake though. Have a good day.
All right, have a good day. Bye.
Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is, Jannette Taylor,
there you go.
President and CEO of the Women's Center of Advancement. You're right, Vicky Young. Great interview. She always is a great interview. I love when she comes on. She's a very powerful individual. I'm working on planning on having a first Sky Omaha a sponsored Women in Power event, because I'm finding that I have a whole lot of friends that are EDs and CEOs and stuff like that in Omaha that are really kind of doing the thing. Women of color putting it together, man, leading. And I'd like to have a little appreciation dinner for them. So if you guys got any other women, and it doesn't have to be women of color, just women in charge, women that are doing some kind of work on a higher level that way, let me know, and let's create a little list and put something together for them. That's one of the things I'd like to try to do this year. It is 8:49 right now already. Man. 10 more minutes into this show, man. And we'll take a quick break and come right back and jump into some haps and a few more things, maybe do a lightning round. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sticking with us. And thanks for chiming into the chat, man. So thank you very much for all of that. Can't have this conversation without you. And so, yeah, we really appreciate you being here. And let us know. We still haven't heard much about what happened over the weekend. Did you guys hit Maha? Did you hit Benson Days? With the stuff, some of the stuff you guys did? Let us know. Let us know what's coming up too. Get ready to get your haps together, and we'll talk about it. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, live from the void. Stay tuned. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Your dreams are your ticket out. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, live from the void. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, the August the 3rd already. So, yeah, man, rent's due this week. You know what it is. So that's what's up. Appreciate you all joining us. Thank you for letting us know what's happening. Brother Rome's Review says Van Gogh exhibit coming up for the wife and I. Right on. I wanted you to let me know. You showed me the ticket already, so I definitely got a poster and a tote for you. And I've been setting aside. We'll have to get together, maybe do some tacos or something in the next week or two, and drop that off for you. So have fun on that. It was a very, very great experience. Took little man to go see that. He was having a great time. He was amazed. So he's a bit of a painter himself, so he loved it. So that's what's up. Wanda Lewis is asking, how was our California trip?
Amazing.
Epic. Straight up epic. So much purpose. We had a really great meeting and talk before all the festivities begun about what our intention was, what we're going to do when we got there, what was the point and the purpose. And we're going to find our point and purpose. And that conversation to me set the tone for everything that happened after that, because we really were able to walk into each situation that we were in with an idea about what we wanted to do and why, and clear about our intentions, clear about everything. And on top of all that, got some business done. And on top of all that, got to witness history,
man,
and enjoy some of the things that we've been looking forward to for a long time. Buddy, I got to tell you, I had one of the best times I had was just watching you be able to see some of your favorite artists for the first time. Like,
man,
some of those I've seen before, but seeing you through your eyes is brand new. This is the first time, buddy, seeing such so and so. You know, like, that's what's up.
Man,
that's what's up.
Man, it was definitely a powerful experience. I mean, we capped off the weekend with Maxwell, y'all. Like, that was huge, man. That was a beautiful thing. I mean, of course, Dave Chappelle is probably my all-time favorite entertainer.
Is that right?
You know, of any discipline.
Wow.
Music, art, comedy. I mean, dude's just a genius, man. I was actually watching a 4-hour special he did. He was just on stage ripping. Like, it was just amazing. Like, the whole weekend was just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we actually got, to see some of the First Sky fam out there was a beautiful thing. Saw some Omaha fam out there. Got Gabrielle Union and D Wade. We got them some First Omaha shirts. Of course, they had our phones locked up, so we couldn't get any pictures. But it was actually, I don't know which Gabrielle Union cousin told her about the show, But when I introduced myself, she actually had heard of First Sky Omaha. So we're in the right circles. Big shout out to whoever told her about us. Thank you for listening. And yeah, man, it was a beautiful weekend. And also, although we did not get to link with Erykah Badu as some of the chat chimers had hoped, we did, meet with some artists and actually not musician, but my man Rivy, who's a painter. Y'all gotta check out his art. Y'all gotta check out. Even if I gotta pull out some out of my own pocket to give him to Omaha, we gotta make that happen.
Yeah, we gotta make that happen. San Francisco working artist out there right now. We got to link with this guy. We're gonna do a little video piece on it as well. And just all over the place. We were able to spend a little time in San Francisco, make some connections. Oakland, matter of fact, and of course Napa Valley, where the whole Blue Note Jazz Festival was, and it was the very first one, and it was history, and it was probably more Black people than Napa Valley has ever seen in one spot at one time.
It's beautiful.
And it was legendary, man. It was legendary. So yeah, we had a great time, and we'll definitely be talking about parts of this trip over the course of time. I'm quite sure. And we've also tried to make some connections because one of our purposes was to go out and make connections with people in order to bring them back and do shows with them in Omaha. Terrace Martin, who has done a show over the Benson Theater already with his dad Curly Martin, is talking about trying to bring Robert Glasper out, and that will be amazing if that happens. We've talked to several people in several different bands and in organizations there. That means that we will be able to have a connection and bring some stuff to Omaha. Omaha really needs to see some of this excellence. We had Black excellence on stage in the biggest way possible. The absolute goats of the game, and the of jazz, of R&B, of neo soul, of hip hop, and poetry and comedy on one stage, and it was incredible.
Man, masters of the arts.
So it was a good reminder of like what we're about, what we come from, and what we want to. My first mission when I first got to town in 2010 was I was like, I'm going to link all of my connections that I got elsewhere to Omaha and bring folks out so Omaha can see some of these things. So that's definitely going to be part of our mission, and it's going down. Miss E says, I don't care. You didn't FedEx me ne'er beef tip nor lumpia. Well, sorry about that. Vicky Young said we jammed at Maha with Marcy Yates.
Hey,
that's what's up, man. That's what's really going on. I wanted to see. I was hoping somebody got some video of his performance. Wanted to see Marcy get down. So man, I heard Maha kind of went off. Did anybody? So we got a couple people in the group that went. Anybody else go? Check out. Yeah, let us know about who you liked on there and what you did and how the activities were.
I mean, from what I saw, it looked like a good time. But yeah, I would definitely love to hear, from who had boots on the roots.
Absolutely. Yep. So yeah, it was a great situation for sure. And I got to tell you, it caused it clarified exactly what it is that we're doing, and it reminded me about like how important it is to have these conversations with you all. And how nobody's really reporting on things that go on in Omaha the way that we are.
Man,
that's what really kind of stood out. Is especially for alternative communities, Black and brown communities, if you will. There's if you're living in another part of the country and you're trying to find out what's going on in Omaha, and all you got is KETV or whatever, then you're not really knowing what's going down. Like it really is that us and the organizations that we're connected with here are feet on the ground, letting you know what's going on with the people, and it just reminded me that's our value here. So I'm really grateful for being able to go out and connect with the people that we did, and get that fire back about what's going on here.
Actually, on that note, it was brought to our attention that there are several areas around the country that has like their own Omaha Day events, and several organizations or groups around the country that still have ties to Omaha and have their own Omaha Day events. We're very, very interested in linking with those organizations, linking with those individuals. So if any of you in the chat know any of those people, please let us know. We are definitely looking to link up if you have family members that are involved in those things, or just friends that are involved in those things. We're looking to link with those people as well as we try to grow and expand what it is that we're doing. So yeah, just putting the call out. If you know anyone who's involved in any Omaha Day festivities or activities outside of the Omaha area, send them our way, or let us know and we'll reach out.
Yep. Not enough time for the haps. Only got 1 minute left in the show, but we will talk about some haps extensively on Friday, of course. Appreciate you. Von Chapman says, "You all we got." Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks, brother.
Rose Review says, "First Sky did the weather and traffic, I probably wouldn't watch the news." Bro, we just stopped doing the weather and traffic.
man.
So we were doing that over in Mind and Soul for sure on the radio there. So that's what's up. But yeah, we're gonna try to do even more, man, because like I said, I got a renewed vigor for what it is that we're actually doing here, and how that's affecting everyone, all of us, just keeping things on our own mind with this show about what it is that we're trying to do. And of course, everything is not just disseminating information or having a conversation about the information, but it's also making changes, make change happen because of the information that we have here. And that's another thing that we have here that a lot of other organizations do not have. So we want to keep encouraging people to mobilize and to go vote and to do everything that needs to be done in order for us to make some changes in our area. Not just hold people accountable, hold organizations accountable, have these discussions, and most importantly, show love. Like even when we talk about the BID and other organizations that we don't always get along with in word all the time, these are still some folks that are trying to make something change. We may not agree on how, but they're trying to do something. And I'd rather try to figure out some points of collaboration than separation, so that we can really kind of like make some things happen in our community.
Message.
Anyway, man, we're gonna get on up out of here. We really appreciate everybody who joined us. We're back. It's going down, season 4. This is Follow the Money. This is First Sky Omaha Radio. We're going to enhance the radio and start the video channel this year as well. So watch out for some new changes. The change that we just made now is that we're going to be live from the Void, live from other areas. We moved out of Weberized for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday shows, but we do have a roundtable that we're going to do over there at the Weberized studio. So shout out to Star Trek Rich and the crew there. We're still going to be doing some work over there, but a different kind of work now. So yeah, just progressing as we go, moving right along and trying to make it happen. Love to hear more about what happened with you last week, and we'll talk to you on Friday about that. And let us know. Of course, you can always hit up First Sky Omaha, the Friends of First Sky Omaha group page on Facebook, for you to drop any kind of articles or anything that's on your mind and it's on your heart. So we'll talk about it. Follow the money and connect the dots. That's what we're going to try to do. Thank you, Brother Chapman. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
As always, big shout out to Sister Precious McKesson and also Jannette Taylor, Miss Jannette Taylor from the Women's Center for Advancement, for stopping through and speaking with us. We appreciate you both as always. And of course, thanks. Big shout out to the chat chimers, the family, the squad, our co-hosts. The show would not be the same without all of you, even the ghost listeners. We appreciate you as we continue to do the work. We're finding there's more and more of you out there. So we definitely appreciate you. We love you all the same. Big shout out to the first time, last time listeners. Thanks for testing us out, man. And as always, man, tell a friend and tell a friend. We here, we growing, we expanding. So let's keep it moving. And man, shout out to Mayor Sanchez dropping us with the finance tip of the day. He says, go 1 day without spending money, then 2, then 3, then there you go. So yeah, something to think of.
Then blow it all on the weekend.
Yeah.
Live like a king.
As always, man, peace and love, y'all. Paul B, take it away.
Pop says, as always, a phenomenal show. Saying thank you is never enough. See you Friday. Appreciate you, Pops, man. Always. Leah Keister. Vicky Young says, great show. Appreciate you. Leah Keister. Great show. Great guest. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. Josh Tays gives us a peace and love. Appreciate that. Miss E says, great show. Glad y'all are back. Back safe. Drink water and be good to yourselves. Thank you very much. Wanda Lewis says, shout out to Terrell McKinney for chiming in. Thank you for reminding me about that. Yes. We had some great comments today in the section. I really appreciate Brother Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name, coming on through And again, I want to give personal thanks to Precious McKesson, put some respect on her name, and Jannette Taylor put some respect on her name as well for showing up and coming through and talking to us today. Very, very great guest as always. We'll see you Friday where we'll have a more extensive haps and jump back into some conversations and do what we do. That's what it is. Thank you very much. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.
Have a great day, y'all.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red